What the heck was that? Something hit my... Somebody trying to get me. Get that bass. I'm like, no! I need trunk space. The heck are you talking about? I need trunk space. I'm not basing it up with aftermarket bass crap in this thing. Are you out of your mind? Well, welcome back. And no, I am not smoking. It is that cold outside. It's 30 degrees, and I decided to go out here and run this thing so the cold doesn't deplete my battery again. So, what is today's video all about today? Well, today's video is about, yeah, it's letting it warm up a little bit. Hope it's not too loud. Trying to let it see if the heat, we got to make sure that the heat works, because I had some issues over the just before fall with the coolant and all of that stuff, because I didn't have any antifreeze or coolant or whatever, so I had to add some coolant. I don't know if there was a clog or whatever, and I had that little swishing sound a while ago. But anyway, we're back trying to see if the heat's gonna work. So that would indicate there's any radiator issues. It's just best to run this thing more than once a week, I think. Even idling. So anyway, we're going to talk about the LED lights in this Jeep. And what do I think about it, right? So, I mentioned this before about my LED lights, but I think I need some kind of opinion here. I'm trying to wait for this to warm up. But anyway, with the whole LED light situation, see how much breath? That's how cold it is. It's 30 degrees right now. So it's best to run this so if and when it snows, I don't come out and have a dead battery again. Even though that I just got my battery replaced, the cold weather has done its toll. And shit, crap like this. So anyway, LED lights. Well, before I get into it, make sure you like this video and subscribe and hit that notification bell. It really means a lot. Alright, so let me tell you a story before I get into the LED lights. One time I was street parking, right? And I have a backup camera, right? And, this guy, I had to get out to look to see how close I was getting to the car behind me, right? And, there was a guy that coming down the street in this car, right? And, I'm standing at the curb looking at the back, trying to see how close I am, and the guy, I go back up here to park, and the guy pulls up just in front of my hood there and almost pulls over, and he looks in his side mirror at me like he's trying to, I don't know if it was because he's admiring this Jeep or if he's just thought I needed to talk to him or something, like he needs to be a witness for an accident that never occurred or something of that nature, right? But turns out nothing happened. He pulled up, looking in his side view mirror, and I pulled away. Or no, he pulled away. So yeah, so I thought that was weird. If I had my dash cam, I would have been able to record it and show it to you. but I just thought that was weird for, thinking like I need to talk to him or something. Like, if I needed to talk to you, I would have flagged down. I was just looking to see how close I was getting because I don't have a backup camera in this thing. Now, somebody did say, oh, why don't you just get a backup camera? There's a screen in it you can put up here. I'm like, I don't want those big screens that people put in their JKs where it literally almost covers the window controls and everything like that. I don't want or need that, right? So, I'm like, dude, I don't need that. Even though I do need a backup camera, though, I don't want some big, gigantic screen. Now, you have to understand, this is not easy to wire anything to, because there's only up here are the only two power outlets in the whole vehicle, because there's no power outlets back here. No power outlets at all. Okay? There's no power outlets. Right? Nothing. No power outlets. Nothing. Okay? Alright, so going back to the LED light situation. So I got these LED lights for Christmas, right? And somebody had gotten them for Christmas, like about a week after I just gotten this thing. Not even a week, right? And they bought these LED lights, and I was a bit procrastinating about getting them installed. Some means of white core. About getting them installed, and what the heck? Sorry, people. There's these old butt cars pulling up in this area. So I'm thinking what they're doing. I'm very suspicious lately, because one time there was a car that pulled up, at here, right? And they pull past, and then they back up, and I just thought that was weird. I don't know what the heck is going on, but I just think that's weird. And that's just me being aware of my surroundings. Very aware of my surroundings. So anyway, about the LED lights, right? So I got them installed. Turns out these were very bright. I was worried. When I had looked, and they installed my lights backwards versus what it says in the picture. But the weird thing is, it says it correctly in the actual photo. So I don't know what the deal is that. Well, now, when, I was worried people were getting blinded and all this other stuff, right? Because the thing about it with these lights is, this is a lifted Jeep, if you don't know already, okay? This sits up higher than most, than the factory Jeeps, right? Now, there was somebody. Now, okay. So on the Bronco, right? Which is basically Ford's version of a Jeep Wrangler, right? Those come with 35-inch tires, right? My tires are 32-inch tires, but this sits up about as high as a stock Bronco, right? Because of its lift, right? Now, a Bronco sits up as high as a full-sized SUV or a truck, right? With the 35-inch tires. Now, those are factory-made Broncos, meaning that the headlights are properly aimed everything is 100% factory. Not the case on this. This is not 100% factory. These lights are not meant for lifted Jeeps. And they're bright. So my concern with these lights is that they might be a problem. Because if people in smaller cars pass me, they could think I have my high beams on. All right? Now let me run a scenario through you, right? If I was a cop driving a Dodge Charger or something like that, and I saw somebody with these bright ass lights, wouldn't you think that I wouldn't think that they have their high beams on because their lights look bright? No's, right? So that's a concern. These bright lights make you think your high beams on, but they're actually not. Now, if I flash my high beams at somebody, for sure they're going to get blinded, right? And I'm like I said, I'm at the conclusion that maybe my high beams or low beams are too bright for people. And how can that be fixed? Well, I'd have to swap out for OEM lights, which I had before. But the OEM lights, on the other hand, are pretty bad. Not very good. But you got to ask yourself, is it better to have OEM lights and have poor lighting on the road versus blinding every driver that you pass? That's the question you got to ask yourself, right? Because they are bright. Now, as you see, I've looked to make sure that those lights don't drown out the signals, which the LED signals I've watched videos on, apparently they don't work with some models. So that's the case. I mean, I don't know if that's the case or not, but anyway. But yeah, these lights are bright, they blind people, and I don't want to put OEM lights in just yet because the person that bought them might be upset, might be like, oh, I want my money back or something of that nature, right? You know, because yeah, they are OEM lights and they are bright and, well, they're not OEM lights, but yeah, they are bright and yeah, they're not OEM lights and they're bright. So, I don't know what to do, people, but that's the reason why I don't drive at night with this. Because the thing about it is, you know, my hands are kind of tied unless I have to take these lights out. But believe me, I do think that they should be taken out. Just as an abundance of caution. That would be one less thing that I have to worry about. And, you know, and on top of that, you got aftermarket stuff too. I mean, it's just expensive. Just expensive owning this. Now, what would this be worth? So this is probably worth about maybe, I did a value on it. So this has 100,000 miles less than what it should have for an 18-year-old car, right? Now, the van was 33 years old, and this is only 18 years old, right? So this thing is, you know, getting up there like the van. And as you know, the van had a lot of problems. A lot of problems. Problems that it wouldn't even pass standard state inspection. Yeah. What the heck was that? Something hit my... Somebody trying to get me? No, I'm just kidding. There ain't nobody. But yeah, van had a lot of problems, right? know. So yeah, so this is basically the van's replacement, I guess you could say. Because the thing wasn't gonna hold. I mean, it could have held up if I didn't move. But because I moved to a state where you have to get your car inspected within 10 days of registering it, you know, that's what happened with the van. All right, let's see if we can distribute the heat better. It's still coming out the air vents. So yeah, yeah, I'm just running this for a little bit. Make sure that, you know, this is good to go for when it snows. And we're gonna get back out there. But yeah, the LED lights, bright. You know, I've talked about getting LED tail lights and LED signals and all of that jazz. But I don't know. I mean, I don't really drive all that much these days, because my mom moves in. But that doesn't mean I won't. It's just that it's not going to be driven as much as it should, or it used to. And plus, with replacing the bumpers and all, you know, there's no sense on replacing these bumpers with those aftermarket bumpers, because it's just going to cost more money if somebody hits it. And, you know, people, let's say, are not very careful. And that goes for anybody. Okay? Someone hits you, they scratch up these bumpers, or they scratch up the new bumpers, I'd have to get that fixed. So, people are very irresponsible when it comes to parking and all that other stuff. So, I don't want to put the money in something and have someone hit it and scratch it all up for something that, you know, yeah, it's not coming out the floor. It's weird. Oh, that's because they didn't have it on that setting. Now it's coming out the floor. All right, my hands are literal ice right now. But yeah, this is how it is, people. It's how it is. All right, well, LED lights. I mean, like I said, I don't need people crashing up my car and all this other stuff and putting all that money into it just to have someone mess it up. You know what I mean? And that's why, like, you know, these bumpers can withstand a hit, but you just got to make sure they don't hit the back, or else they could damage it. You know what I mean? But anyway, this has been going on for long enough. Just in here rambling. But yeah, I mean, you know, when I first got this, everybody was like flipping out, like, oh my gosh, you got to do this, that, and the other. I'm like, I had to spend like almost $2,000 in total just trying to keep this thing repaired. You think I'd want to spend more money on aftermarket crap that I don't even need? I mean, yeah, this needs a lot of work. Like these speakers up here and back here. I don't know where it is. It's like right here. Where is it? Yeah, I don't even know where it is. It's like right back here somewhere. Like right here. Yeah, I can't even hit it. They don't work. Only the front speakers work. And they're like, are you going to bass this thing out? Like, get that bass? I'm like, no. I need trunk space. The heck are you talking about? I need trunk space. I'm not basing it up with aftermarket bass crap in this thing. Are you out of your mind? But yeah, so that pretty much, you know, sums it all up. All right. This has been running for like 20 minutes now. I did what it said. So I'm going to go ahead and get inside here before people start flipping out, because I'm in my car idling, wasting gas. But I'm not really wasting gas. I'm trying to keep this battery charged up because I can't go anywhere. All right. See you guys in another video. All right, let me make sure I do this correctly. Everything's off.